Welcome back, Modified Crew. I'm your daily driver, Mark Herman. If you want to know how to sell your vehicle and get the most profit out of it, stay tuned because we're getting started right after this intro. All right, so the first thing you guys want to go ahead and do is detail that car. Nobody wants to buy a dirty car. If you look at, let's say, an auto dealership or anything like that, they have their cars always perfectly detailed, or for the most part, they try to. And the reason for that is when you're buying a car, you want to see yourself in it. And you can't see yourself in somebody else's mess. If you're asking top dollar, you need to spend a little time to make sure your car looks top dollar. If you're asking for the most and your car looks way worse than it typically would if it was clean, obviously you're going to get less or not get a response from anybody. So first tip, go ahead and detail that car. Don't just wash it, detail it well. Okay, so the second step you want to go ahead and do is make sure that everything works on the car. You want to make sure all your fluids are topped off, all the light bulbs and stuff like that work. You know, all the little things. These little details add up to a big issue. If a customer comes to buy a car, or somebody's looking to buy your car and they see a bunch of little problems, and to them it looks like a big deal, because if they see little problems, then that thing makes them think, oh wait, there's bigger problems lying underneath. So if it's a small affordable fix and not the main reason you're selling the car, just go ahead and fix it. I mean, if it's going to be a couple bucks, it's worth doing that instead of losing a few hundred or getting talked down when you're negotiating over something like a $2 light bulb or low oil, stuff like that. And you should be doing that normally when you're maintaining your car, but definitely when you go to sell, just make sure those little details are tended to so the buyer is pleased when they show up and the car is exactly as advertised. All right, now that you got your vehicle all dialed in and ready to sell, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and start taking some photos. When you go ahead and want to take pictures of the car, you want to think it out. You don't want to just be like, okay, a couple pictures, don't even move the car out of the parking spot, even though you're getting bad shots. No, you want to go ahead and give clear shots all the way around the car, maybe a couple of the interior, engine bay, trunk, something like that. You want to be thorough, provide as much information so when the customer goes to look at the photos, they have a pretty good idea of what they're looking to buy. If you provide one or two low quality photos, then you're going to get a lot more questions, and a lot of people are going to be turned off and not even wanting to look at the vehicle or even contact you because they're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. So make sure it's perfectly clean and detailed, which should have been the first step. And then also make sure your pictures clearly show what they are buying. And it doesn't hurt to take flattering shots, just make sure that you think out your shots and take clear shots of the vehicle so people know what they're getting. Okay, you got your perfectly prepped, beautiful looking car and you got your pictures all ready to go. So now what? What you wanted to go ahead and do is kind of work up what it is you are selling. You want to provide the information on the vehicle, whether it's the year, make, and model, if it's a clean title or salvaged vehicle, the mileage, basic stuff, if it's automatic or stick, basic information. But you want to make sure it's included, because if you post the information like car looks good, come pick it up, people are going to ask you a bunch of questions. But if you are thorough in providing the information on your posting, what will happen is it'll reduce the abundance of questions that you're going to get, and you'll filter out to the serious buyers. Now, I have found that if you have an overly long post, people aren't wanting to waste their time reading through it typically, and it may turn some people off. So just get to the quick points about the car, and if there is any serious issues, you do want to include it. Now you're like, okay, well, it might steer some people away and I might lose a potential buyer, but realistically what it's going to do is save their time and save your time, because it'll actually leave your phone open to the actual serious buyer who is prepared to take on these issues, whatever it may be. The thing is, you do not want to hide any issues about the car, because let's say you're like, car runs great, perfect, everything like that, and the buyer comes to check out the car and finds the issue, then they're upset, then they're like, what else is he hiding, anything like that, and usually the transaction will fail to go through. And with that being said, it wastes their time, it wastes your time, so just be upfront. If you have a big dent in the door, or if you have an engine problem, go ahead and put that in there. I know, like, it might seem tempting to go ahead and not disclose this stuff, but in the long run, you will be happy that you did. So just provide all information, have a nice posting, and make sure you have the clear listing on the title of what you're selling. Okay, so now that we have our pictures and our kind of worked up description and title for the vehicle, next step is you want to go ahead and post your car. So there's multiple places you can do this. You could go ahead and utilize Craigslist, which if I understand correctly, Craigslist, I believe, started charging to post your vehicle. You can use Facebook Marketplace. You can use OfferUp. There's plenty of different sites that you can advertise for free. So what I suggest is, why not utilize all of them? Because if you have more exposure on the vehicle, you're gonna get more interest, and more interest means that you're gonna have more people willing to contact you about the vehicle. Now, if you only post in one site and only one buyer, that one buyer might be able to talk you down. But if you have 40 different buyers from multiple sites coming in, you know that you could stand firm on your price. So you want to utilize all the available sources to advertise your vehicle as possible. And I usually use just the free ones. You don't have to pay, but if you're selling a high dollar vehicle, let's say a classic vehicle or an exotic or something like that, you might want to utilize sources such as eBay or AutoTrader as well, just to up your exposure. And for a small fee, if you're going to gain thousands of dollars, why not? It's worth your time. Okay, so this next step actually should have been prior to you listing your vehicle, but you want to go ahead and find out how much your vehicle's worth. I would use the sites that I am looking to sell my vehicle on and run comps. So I would see what my vehicle is valued at by what it's being sold at. It makes you have a realistic expectation of what your car is worth. So when you run these comps, you know what the car's value is and how competitive you want to price your vehicle. The thing is, if you sell it at the higher amount, you're going to be sitting on the car longer. And if you sell it at the lower amount, the faster the car is going to be sold. So you want to be anywhere from the middle price range or the lower amount. Now, I don't want you to undercut yourself unless you want to. And the other thing is, you want to be a little bit higher than what you're hoping to get, because people will try to talk you down. If you're asking way too much, you're not going to get any response. And the other thing is, if you're sitting on a vehicle for a long time and you're not getting any bites, it's probably because your car is listed too high. So you might want to reevaluate your asking price. Okay, so the next step is you've pretty much made your posting, you have your asking price, what you're looking for, you have the car all detailed, and now people are starting to contact you. What you want to do is go ahead and answer the questions as quickly as possible. Try to be considerate of their time as well, because answering somebody's reply 6 hours later, it shows poor etiquette, even if it's late at night. Sometimes that is the serious buyer that will be paying your full asking price. That's pretty much it. You just want to make sure that you answer these requests as quickly as possible. Okay, so now you got that buyer who's ready to go and you want to meet up. I typically suggest meeting in a safe place. Now, the buyer is actually more at risk because they typically have a lot of liquid cash on hand, and it's harder to steal a car and transfer it into your name and stuff like that. So realistically, if you're scared of selling your vehicle, roll with somebody. It doesn't hurt to exercise caution when you do meet someone. I also like to meet in a public place, Walmart's, McDonald's, wherever where there's a lot of people. So if something does happen, you at least have eyewitnesses and you're protected somewhat. Even sitting in front of a security camera is a great idea. So I would suggest bringing a pen, a title, bill of sale if you need it. I mean, it's good protection, but I don't typically use it. I just sign over the title, the keys, the vehicle, and a ride home and a friend. There you go. That's pretty much the basics of what you're gonna need as far as getting the vehicle sold. Okay, so the guy or girl that's showing up to buy the car loves it. They're ready to make an offer, and it comes down to negotiation time. A lot of people will lowball you on the first shot, and that's fine. Don't take it as an insult. People want to get the best deal on their car. You would probably want to do the same, and haggling is kind of part of a car or auto transaction. If you feel that your car is already competitively priced and you have a lot of other potential buyers, you can stand firm. The other thing is, if a person is showing up to meet you and you know that they have driven a long distance. Let's say they drove, 2 hours or over an hour to go ahead and pick up your car. More often than not, they will have your full asking price in their pocket or on their persons or whatever. They'll have the full amount with them, and they're just trying to get the best deal, because nobody's going to drive 1 or 2 hours to not get the car that they are looking for over trying to lowball. Sometimes it'll happen, but more often than not, they will have the money on them. So if you feel like you're competitively priced, you have a lot of engagement with other buyers, stuff like that, you have backup buyers lined up, stand firm. If you have little engagement and they're the only potential buyer, you might want to really think about how low you want to go. So prior to meeting this person, you may want to think about your bare bottom dollar price of what you feel your vehicle's worth after running comps, and that way you're getting a fair price for your vehicle. Okay, so the final step, you got the buyer on the hook, they've already went ahead and made their offer, everything like that, you're good to go. Go and shake their hands, let them know that you appreciate them buying your vehicle and you wish them the best. I mean, it doesn't hurt that they feel good that they're buying from a nice, honest person, So if they feel good about the transaction leaving, you can feel good as well, because you don't have to stress anything out or anything like that. So you want to make sure you sign the title in the proper locations. It's different for every state, so I can't really tell you. And after you go ahead and do that, you want to go ahead and let your DMV know. I used to mail them out. It's a horrible experience, because sometimes the DMV is like, well, we didn't get it. So now once you take that little slip, you want to go ahead and fill it out on the DMV's website and release yourself from any liability. True story, my brother sold a truck. The guy went and crashed it into a wall, and the police or whatever tried contacting my brother because the guy never took it out of his name. So you want to release the liability as quickly as possible, because anything could happen and you don't want to be held accountable for somebody else's actions. So make sure you go and get that information, give them their information, and get the vehicle out of your name. Even though it's their responsibility to transfer it, they don't always do that, especially if they have current tags. All right, we made it. So I wish you guys all the luck, best of luck on selling your vehicles for top dollar and quick. Just to give you some insight, my last vehicle, for those of you who follow my channel, was a $2,200 Scion FRS. I actually sold that vehicle, just to give you guys heads up who didn't know, because I haven't told you yet. I sold it within 2 hours, which leads me to the next thing. If you guys have not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, because the next video is going to be unveiling my new build. I'm excited about it. I already have it. I am going to provide all the details, everything you need to know on the next episode. On the next episode, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and best of luck on your sales.